What's happening, YouTube? Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a brand new PRLostGalaxy2014 review. And today we are taking a look at part 1 of 4 of my McFarlane DC Multiverse Build a Frost King figure wave from Justice League Endless Winter with that comic. And so for the first of many, I'm doing my review on Batman from this line and take a look at his figure, because when you get Batman, he comes with the Frost King's, Build-A-Figure arm pieces and his sword. And of course, we'll take a look at this Batman. So now that with all my endless amount of Batman figures that I've reviewed so far in the last almost 6 months, from the McFarlane line. Well, actually, no, basically over a year, because again, I'm losing count because McFarlane has did so many Batman figures. Yeah, that's a lot. But he's not the only character from the Build-A-Figure line that I got figures from for this. I do have Wonder Woman, I do have Green Lantern, and I do have Black Adam. So I had to get them all individually, each off of Amazon for their respective prices. Prices may vary depending on how I got them, but they were, close to $30, $40, $50 ranges, because, collectors were buying these figures up and buying every single one of them up as much as possible. So I managed to get Batman, I managed to get Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, the Jon Stewart version, and, I was going to say Shazam, Black Adam. So we're going to take a look at every single Frost King Build-A-Figure character wave, that we have in this, because now that I have so many Batman figures so far, this is my first Batman figure that I got that's part of a Build-A-Figure from the McFarlane Multiverse line. Well, I do have plenty of Batman figures from the DC Direct line that are, Build-A-Figures, but those are based off of Batman the animated series. This is part of the mainstream DC Comics Build-A-Figure and whatnot, and for the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. So let that be clear. So you got, Batman in his endless winter gear as shown. Everything that he comes with in a Batarang that may look like a Batarang-based compass. Probably used like in the comic, because even though I never read an Endless Winter, read the Endless Winter story, but I am aware of it through first the toys. But wait until when I ever do read the Endless Winter comics somehow in some way, probably from a paperback trade somewhere, I'll probably see how it all went down, and also the Frost King's appearance in that book. So here's the front of the package for what Batman looks like in his Build a Frost King package, and with all his accessories that he comes with. Then you got his name on the side. So here's how it's all mapped down. So when you get Batman, well, even though Batman was the second character that's in the wave, but I had to get him first and Wonder Woman second, so I had to do these figures out of order. What I did was did Wonder Woman, Batman first, Wonder Woman second, Black Adam third, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern last. So once I go through all of the, since I already have the whole entire set and the whole entire wave, so we're going to do each day, I'm going to go until this is complete. I'm going to go over every single figure, every single figure to build the Frost King. So with Batman, he comes with Frost King's arms and his sword, so that's good to go and good to know. All right. So with that being said, let's take a look at Batman from this wave and see how he is and how he stacks up for the set. Okay, now that we got Endless Winter Batman out of the package, let's go over all of the accessories before we go over the figure and see how he is and everything. Articulation, figure details, everything, playability. But before we do Batman, we need to go over the Build a Frost King figure pieces that he came with. So here is Frost King's arms, where you got these translucent ice crystal shard looking shoulder pads for the Frost King, one with all the crystal to it, and then the other were part crystal, part of the fur of the creature. So, and also crystal, ice crystal around the lower armor for him too. So that's pretty cool too. But it's just the way how the ice, the ice crystals on him is. It can come off a little bit like green kryptonite if you put it to the light a little bit and see the full animated effect. It does feel like kryptonite, which is Superman's weakness and all, but that's just how he looks too, because I like the way how they had it all see-through, as you can see as well. So that's real awesome how this is done for his arms, and it's really great too. So those are the arms. And next we have his sword, which is also see-through. You can, it's very translucent, translucent greenish blue, bluish green type of color. And you can see even from the light and how translucent it is. It looks almost like a giant Excalibur sword. Green, if the Green Lantern uses his lantern ring to make a giant, a Excalibur like sword like this. And yeah, that's real good too, because I really like the way how this sword is. So, and let's see how it is in the hand of the Frost King, but it's going to be a little hard moving the fingers so I can put it in the hand. And once we put the Frost King together later and take a look, because I'm trying to put the sword in the Frost King's hand, it's going to be tough because I don't want to struggle and, I have to cut some part of it out. Make sure you put enough elbow grease putting it in the hand, because now here's the Frost King's sword. Here's the sword in the Frost King's hand once we, once I go around assembling him. And there you have it. So you got his sword, even though I don't think I had it in all the way, but it's just, yeah, okay, I got it. So here's the sword in hand. Then on to the base stand for this Batman. So you got the base stand with the DC logo on it as usual, like with the rest of all of my figures for this line. And then on to the trading card, file card for Batman, what this is about with the Endless Winter. We already know about the details about Bruce Wayne as a child, about his parents getting murdered in Gotham City's crime alley. Traumatized by their deaths, he devoted his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against the crime, that being Batman. Now, to become the ultimate vigilante, the Dark Knight disciplined his mind and body to reach the pinnacle of mental and physical superiority in his relentless pursuit of justice. Okay, again, we already know about that detail, but it's great to have. But if only this file card had as more detail of what this Batman was about during the Justice League Endless Winter storyline in the comic instead. And here is comic art of, Batman in his, fur coat with his, his utility belt around it, and also goggles around. So yeah, that's great. That's great. And last but not least, one more accessory that he came with is Batarang, which it can look a little bit like a compass, because given this red, this metallic red orb around the center of the Batarang, it can look like, if he had used this as like a compass or a bat bomb. Okay, throwing a reference to Batman and Robin 1997 here. But remember in Batman and Robin how Batman would put that thing, like this Batarang looking thing like this on inside the rocket so it can detonate for him and Robin to, skydive, ski board, their way out of the rocket. We got to get out of here before Gotham becomes a crater. Then, but that's just how this Batarang looks. It looks a bit like that. Again, throwing more shade at Batman and Robin. Again. Yeah, well, next thing you know, watch I get a Batman figure where he has a Bat credit card laying around somewhere. And now, last but not least, we take a look at Endless Winter Batman, and I have to say, this is pretty good. I like how authenticity it looks. It's very close to how he looked in the comic, color-wise and detail-wise, and it's really great how they translate it from comic book to action figure. And again, when we go over his articulation, because due to the fur coat, there's not much articulation you can do from the top, and also the coat does not come off, nor does the belt and the coat stay on this figure, because we don't want Batman shivering himself to death in this cold. So the coat stays on. At first, when I got the figure, I thought this Batman would have take the belt off and the coat would come off. But no, it stays on the figure, and the shoulder pads don't come off, none of that. So it stays exactly intact out as is. And I really like the bat suit for this. It fits well for the winter time, of course. So that's pretty awesome to keep it intact. And because during the most chilliest time of the year, we got to have a Batman dressed well for the winter, and during the most brutalist time of the year after the holidays, that being January and February with the blizzards and all that stuff, and avalanches, and certain feet of snow and inches of snow. But if it gets too much with the with the snow, then it will become a full-on blizzard, a blizzard that will keep everybody caved in for days until it will be hard to cave your way out of that snow and all that snowmageddon, as I call it, even in real life. And also looking at this Batman with the goggles on, it can look a little bit like the early 1980s Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, and how, like, in the original G.I. Joe cartoon and comics, Snake Eyes had, like, snow goggles like that on his ninja mask and all of that. But they can also look similar to that too, but for a Batman. And we have a Batman where you don't show his his chin line or anything open, showing Bruce Wayne under the cowl like most versions of the Dark Knight, because again, this Batman keeps himself fully covered up because he doesn't want that cold air getting into his his nostrils and everything. I know, TMI, but it's just, it suits well for the winter theme, the endless winter theme that it's conveying. And as for the coat, it can, the coat has some good detailing. I like the way how the texture on the coat is and everything. But the fur coat can look like one of those coat, like one of them one of them fur coats your mom would wear during the winter time, but open up. And it also has that winter, that fur coat like feel, like during the holidays and stuff, you come out, or like one of them coats you wear, your girlfriend or mom would wear during, like, like when going to bed or coming out of bed or something, dressed like that. But yeah, that's something about this Batman. And of course, again, the utility belt is outside of the suit and not sculpted onto the suit, which I did notice, because you can see that it's not on the suit. It's just like as is again. All right, let's go over what little articulation Endless Winter Batman has, and then that's it, and we move on to the next character. So his head turns around all directions, but it's a little difficult due to the back end of the coat, where his neck is, the back of his neck is. I don't know if you can do any. No, unfortunately, due to the coat being all hard plastic, especially on the back of him, you won't be able to do any kind of, abdomen crunches or none of that. No butterfly joints either. But you can, however, raise his arms up just about like this high and this high here too. But also due to the shoulder pads, you're not going to be able to do much of that, lifting the arms up all the way around. So this is as far as Batman's arms can go up. And just have it lower down like that, because, given the thick material they made to sculpt the jacket with all that hard plastic for the jacket, you're not going to be able to, like, close his armpits out, close his armpits in any capacity. So his arms are just like this, unfortunately. Now his elbow crunches. His elbow crunches are really good. So you got some good elbow crunches, so that's superb. So give it a 4 out of 5 on that with the elbow crunches. And why do I have a feel? No, I thought for a moment, I thought this elbow was broken or something, and then the arm was broke. Nope. But here is the elbow crunch on this arm for this Batman. In terms of the leg movement, it's going to be hard pulling them legs out, because again, this part of the coat doesn't want to bring out the right leg, but the left leg can come out at least. But that's as far as you can go. But you're not going to be able to, like, bring out that right leg out much. So that kind of sucks for the most part. Oh no! See, this is what yeah, that was bound to happen. That leg just popped out, because I don't know what the heck was going on making the leg so why did I pop that leg out? See, that's the problem. And then I should have never took it out of the joint. It should have never happened. Damn, what did I do? Break it? Yep, pretty much. Why did they make this Batman? See, that's what kind of ticked me off right here, folks, is that they really should have never made this part of the jacket so thick. And then I'm trying to get the leg come out. So when I tried to, let's see, why is going on with the? Yeah, I'm not really happy with this Batman right now. Really not. Really not happy with this. Really not happy. No, I'm not really happy about this. How this Batman had to come out of the leg had to come out and come out of the peg, and then, nope, and it's back down to up to here again. I was trying to raise the leg up, but see what happened was they should have never, should have never had this leg like, covered up like this, and then just broke. The first time I broke a Batman figure and took the leg out, and just, I don't know why I did it. Why did I do that? Ow. Ow. I don't know why I did that, though. Because, well, at least you can sort of get his knee crunch on this leg, ankle pivot and stuff. But damn if I had to break this Batman, and try to... It's just, again, I'm trying to get that leg out, but he just leg out of the jacket a little bit so I can see what the heck is going on with the leg. But, yeah, I don't know what the heck I was doing. Alright, well, I did manage to put the leg into the port because it was a little difficult. I don't even know why the heck. So, yeah, I noticed that this is a Batman where the leg is really bad. I mean, this leg especially is really bad. But the left leg, though, since it was so exposed, you can easily get the left leg going and, do a knee crunch. And then, pivot that ankle. Ankle pivot on that and ankle pivot on this foot, too. And also flip the toes on both feet. So that's about that. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Batarang, because with the hands, with these hands out for this Batman, I tried prior to recording, both portions of this review, going over the figure and everything. I tried putting the Batarang and even try to pose him with the Batarang in hand for the video, when you click on the video. But unfortunately, the Batarang will not go in the hands. I don't know why. Like, why can't it go in the hands, for God's sakes? But anyway, I mean, this Batman figure is okay for the most part. I like the presentation for it, the the detail, QC and everything. But what was not good was that right leg being broke and stuff. So that's what, that was my fault because I was forcing to try to get that right leg out of this part of the jacket so I can get his leg out and raise raise the leg and see how it is. So his playability is, due to the jacket, is pretty limited. So that's one of the reasons why. Now, I do like this Batman, but I like him the least in terms of playability. But it's just everything about this figure is kind of a mixed bag. But, he's not, things will get better when I go through the other characters, since at least since Batman had that, fur coat and everything, the other characters won't be that much of a problem. Trust me, when I go over them. So that's it for my review on Batman from the Justice League Endless Winter line. Tune in next time when I discuss Wonder Woman in this wave.